So as a calligrapher, I mostly get commissioned to write words from the Quran or the Hadith, or names of God, for example, part of the Asma al-Husna. And before I begin to create the calligraphy, I try and feel what's this word saying? What's this? Somebody asked me once how many times I've written Allah, and I said probably 1,000,000 times now, over 20 years. And they asked why. And I said, because I'm still discovering every day who Allah is for me, the creator of the universe. My definition, my relationship to Allah as a concept has deepened over 20 years and is still deepening every day. And that's because I really try and grasp in my heart the sacredness of what I'm creating, what I'm wrestling with, what I'm dealing with, what I'm trying to express. So when I express it, even if it's an Arabic word, somebody who can't speak Arabic will be able to read it, which happens very often. I'm always amazed. So Arabic words, people will just say, does that say, merciful, or does that say soul? I'm like, yes. And for me, it shows that my art's working, because I try to instill that my understanding and grasp of the sacredness into the artwork that's being created. My name is Samir Malik, and I'm an artist and calligrapher based in the UK. I've been doing calligraphy and design since over 20 years, since I studied in Damascus University. And I just love being an artist because I'm inspired by our common humanity and expressing myself so other human beings can share with that, or be inspired, or see themselves in my art, is a thing that moves me most to do my art, to find a bridge through my art, through color and form and shape and communication. Helps, or it makes me feel alive. I started my art career, you could say, when I was 5. I loved playing with art in school, playing with colors, making a mess. And I wanted to be an artist when I was a child, but I was told I should be a proper, have a proper career, like a doctor, lawyer, and accountant. So I studied medicine because my father didn't allow me to be an artist, and I practiced for over 10 years, teaching as well. And then I gave it all up, moved to Damascus and studied calligraphy, and I've been doing that ever since. I moved to Damascus to support my sister to study Arabic, and she enrolled me at the university to study calligraphy. And I thought I'd do it just as a hobby or something to pass the time. But from my first lesson, I realized this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And I've been doing it ever since. And I realized that in the beginning, it wasn't important to be a great artist or do it well. It was just to practice, practice, practice. So I always tell people for the first 5 years, I did really bad calligraphy, but I enjoyed it so much. And anything you practice again and again and again, you become better. And so after 5 years, I realized that actually my skills were developing, and I started getting work. I did a masjid in my local area. I did, had fairs and started to get commissioned, and I've been doing it ever since. So, it's a practice thing. I love doing it so much, and because of that, I've got better and better. So I tell people, find out what you love doing, do it badly first of all, but keep doing it, and then eventually, you'll get paid for it, and live your life having fun and expressing yourself. And then somebody said to me that Islamic geometry, it hints at what the eyes can't see but the heart can feel, and that totally inspired me. So I just spent years practicing, exploring geometric patterns, compass, pencil, rubber, rulers, and just building up patterns that help me to understand art, understand space, understand how to express myself. And I've been doing it maybe 30 years now, and yeah, I love it. People ask me sometimes do I do Islamic art, and I like to say that no, it's my art appeals to everybody. I've had exhibitions in synagogues and churches. When I was studying in Damascus, when I was practicing, my friends would often ask me, why do you do Christian calligraphy? And I'd say to them, no, this is all from the Quran or from Islam. God talks about mercy, kindness, love, compassion for each other. And I realized that the art I do, it's more human in that it encompasses Christian, Jewish, Muslim, even non-secular, non-religious art, because I try to find the common thread of humanity that we all share around the world as brothers and sisters, and express that through my art rather than a specific Islamic ideal. I take Islam because I grew up as Muslim. I've been inspired by Muslims. My mother, my father taught me so much about the beauty of life through their Islam and their practice of Islam. And so Islam is the main thread, but all religions, all faiths and creeds inspire me to create art. So when I was studying in Damascus, we learned the very, very formal techniques of Islamic calligraphy, which actually is more technical drawing than calligraphy in my experience, because for example, the alif has so many dots deep, or the ba has so many dots wide, and the balance is all according to dots, so it's more technical drawing. But when you start studying calligraphy more, you see the African styles or the Chinese styles, how they took that and then introduced their own understanding of the world, their interaction with the world. You get something that is less technical drawing and becomes more of an art form that people recognize even if they can't read it, which is really exciting. And that's something I try to develop in my own art, my own style of calligraphy, that they've named it Maliki style after me now. And it's a style that even though it breaks enough of the rules, it still has enough rules to be beautiful, but it's different enough. And yeah, it's an enormous privilege that the style I spent developing for myself to learn how to express what's inside me through calligraphy is now recognized and studied around the world too. People often ask me, what steps do I follow in the process of creating my art? Now, the thing I've realized is that because I've been doing it over 20 years, it's become natural to me. It's like I don't have to think. Now, so when I'm going to do a calligraphy piece or do something in calligraphy, the first thing I have to do personally is feel what it is, understand it. If it's a Quranic ayah or a Bible quote or a word, I wrestle with that. I try and feel it in my heart. And then I prepare all the inks and the pens and everything, and I sit down before my blank paper, and then I just get out of the way and let that come through me. If I think too much, it comes out nice sometimes, but if I feel what's there and then let that come through me rather than me creating it, then it's much more beautiful. And it's much easier as well because there's less work for me involved. I have to just let the calligraphy come through me rather than trying to create it, if that makes sense. And so the process is get the skill set, know what I'm doing, but then get out of the way and let that piece come through me. And that's a very beautiful process, I find, for myself. My creative process is really interesting. It's because I've been doing calligraphy for over 2 decades. With these pens that I use and the inks and the mediums I use, it's become like breathing for me, or like doing things automatically. It was like driving. When you drive, you don't think about the road, you just drive. So for calligraphy for me is I don't think about the calligraphy, I just let the calligraphy come through me. But that's come after the first few years doing it consciously, trying to make sense of it with my mind. Now I don't try and make sense with my mind. I try and just express myself without my mind getting in the way, and that's makes it much easier, and it's much more effective as well. I find inspiration to create my work through the everyday interactions we have as human beings, or with the world, with the God's creation around me. If you look around you, the world is filled with beauty. Sometimes just the clouds, traveling across the sky. Sometimes it's the way a child will smile at you, or a little cat will play with you, or the way the flowers grow and the trees, and the way the seasons all change when you have autumn or spring. It's just being aware and awake to that inspires me endlessly, because I think I could spend, if I lived long enough, 1,000 years and still be amazed every day at God's creation. And so I've learned just to be present to it, to witness it, to explore it and to interact with it, and also see how I'm part of God's creation, how I also am able to create beauty or make the world a more beautiful place. I have specific pens that I've used since 20 years. They're called automatic pens. They're metal calligraphy pens that you'll see them, when I demonstrate my art. So I work with those mostly 95% of the time, and also with a medium called gouache. It's like watercolor, but it's a bit more powdery. And so what happens is the colors don't blend so easily, so you get the different streaks of colors and patterns forming when you do it, which is one, beautiful thing about my style, is the way the colors interact with each other without becoming, just one color. And so gouache together with automatic pens, which you'll witness when I demonstrate. When I'm creating art, it all depends. If I'm creating something on commission, then I like to have my space where I'm, maybe just have nature around me rather than other people, so I can just work, or let the inspiration come through me. That's when I'm thinking of a specific piece that I'm creating for somebody. But what I love doing is working with groups as well, when people, or different fairs or different events or different, I've done a lot, some work for the Saudis and the Bahrain embassies and different organizations where I'll do names or calligraphies, bespoke calligraphies. And I love that interaction, that playfulness. And then when I create the calligraphy, to see the reaction live in the person I'm creating for. And it's just such a privilege and honor. I'm mostly a witness to this. I take some credit, but just being able to do that, to bring joy to somebody in the moment is great. So 2 different environments, either alone with nature, my little coffee machine, and just or just with people interacting and there was a project I did last year that took the whole year, and it was amazing because I worked with a primary school from reception year, when they enter school, up until year 6 when they finish the primary school. And I got the whole school to design something that will go as a mural on the wall of the school that faces the entrance, 12 meters high by 4 meters wide. And so working with all the children, getting their inspiration, get the idea for colors and what they want to express, and what they came up with as a group, of 120 children, was be kind. So we designed the whole be kind in English, in Sanskrit, in Mandarin, and Arabic, and Hebrew. And we created a design that I spent a couple of months creating on the wall. And for me, that was such a beautiful thing, because I helped facilitate the young children in expressing who they want to be and what they want to share with the world. And that mural will be there for the next 50, 100 years maybe. And there's thousands of people who walk past that mural every day. So to know that I was part of something, helping facilitate, a message, be kind, that, will contribute to making the world a better place, that will be there long after I'm gone, was, I think, my favorite project so far. The challenges I have sometimes with Islamic art is when I get commissioned to do certain pieces in certain styles. Like somebody wanted me to do a large piece in Diwani, and I've spent 20 years holding the pens a certain way to create in the other styles. But with Diwani, you hold the pen different way, and what happened is my hands started getting cramped because I wasn't used to holding the pen naturally. I had to think too much. So I actually asked somebody else who's much better qualified than me to actually complete that commission, or take that commission. So what I've realized is I have a certain style. I work really well with that certain style, and it really achieves a certain result. And so I work with that, and if there's anything that's out of my remit or something that I'm not used to doing, and if I start struggling with it, I tend to give it to somebody else to do, because I realize that what I do really well, and what I don't do well, let somebody else who does it well do it. So the challenges are more, maybe it's my age, getting older. I realize I don't want to do any hard work anymore. I love doing what I do. And so all challenging aspects, just I just gently say no to with respect. Islamic art has had such a massive influence on the world in modern times. Modern meaning since the Middle Ages, since civilization started developing, building churches and mosques, and building cities, and then becoming industrialized. So much of that, in my experience and understanding, has been influenced deeply by Islamic art. Not just art generally, but architecture, about form, about the numbers on the watch, Arabic letters, So the influence of Islamic art, Islamic industry, Islamic architecture, Islamic engineering, Islamic science, because calligraphy is also part of the Islamic sciences, has had, in my experience or my understanding, massive influence that we can't even begin to really evaluate, because it's everywhere in the furniture, the buildings, the way we interact, the way we deal with things, even having the number 0. It's just that it changed the whole world. And number 0 is a nukta, which is part of, which contains all numbers and all letters within it. And so yeah, Islamic art has had a very, very deep influence that we feel in our everyday lives, from morning till night, in all interactions. And it's amazing to notice that, to see the signs and think, wow, this is, how exciting is that the work I do is seen and influenced everywhere. When I go to create something, so I'll get all the inks ready, the gouache, I get my pens, I make sure they're all good, and paper's there, and everything's in its place, and I usually have a little espresso with me to just, and then, like I said, I have the intention, and I get out the way, and I become like a witness to the art being created as I create it. And that for me is completely a beautiful, magical moment, because very often I'm surprised myself at what comes through. And it's something I've learned to really treasure and honor in being an artist. And I feel very privileged to be an artist, so I can experience this again and again, almost on a daily basis. When I get stuck, when I'm trying too hard, as we all do sometimes, what I've learned to do now is to make a mistake I've never made before. So try and do it badly, to just get pen on paper, to let the work start, and then I find it easy to let go, and then the magical moment will come through then, very, very quickly.